We got ShinyMark and another Georgia resident in Jahzz0.
They love us. They're giving us all the Georgia matches. I'm so happy about this. I'm so happy that Jahzz0 is fighting ShinyMark. You know, he's super excited for this matchup too. He's so practiced in the Pikachu matchup. He's so ready to take ShinyMark out. And I mean, I'm just excited to see if Jahzz0 makes it a 3-0 or gives ShinyMark one game, honestly.
I have $20 in cash that you cannot name a Georgia Pikachu that has played in the past 2 months.
Oh, God, what's his name? Not Swift. It starts with an S. No, I have one. I know one. Hold on. Give me a second. This is good content, right? It's just me waiting to come up with a Pikachu from Georgia just for the bit.
Come on, you got like another 30 seconds. You gotta figure it out.
What is his name? It's not Swift. Is it Speed?
No,
the guy shows up drunk the 404 and just plays with his headphones in the entire time. But he's a Pikachu in region, all right? That's all I got for you.
All right, well, I think Jahzz0 might have that experience, but going back to the match, how do you expect Jahzz0 to at least play against someone like ShinyMark? You know, this is something that he may not be as comfortable with. Do you expect to be a more passive Ken? Do you seem to try to be more oppressive? I don't think he has the luxury, similar to what we saw earlier with Mutace against the Ryu, I believe it was Kawaii Pickles. You can't jump in, period. That is forbidden.
Hey, you're going Ken, right? I think he's going to go Ken. You're going Ken, right? Gonna go get Ken game 1, which, you know, by the way, Goblin just passed by and said he's gonna go Kaz. He's gonna pull out the Kaz.
Okay.
We'll see, but yeah, going Ken in game 1 is definitely the right choice, right? He gets to spend time conditioning his opponent, try to figure out how ShinyMark chooses to play in disadvantage, fish for parries, the classic Jahzz0 setup to get started with the game plan. If game 1 goes successfully with the Ken, we're going to stick on the Ken. We're going to play around those scrambles. We're going to play around punishes, get those down tilt Shoryukens. If game 1 doesn't go well, will we switch to Kazuya? I'm not sure. Kazuya's probably better than Ryu in that situation, but I'm not sure. I really don't know what the adaptation would be.
I really think the Kazuya is one of the safer options, but a less conventional pick for Jahzz0 that I think would work extremely well is Terry. Terry. You go Terry, you have ways to essentially bypass neutral, you have your long hanging fair. There's a lot of ways, especially Power Geyser.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And there's ways for him to essentially quickly reversal the stock for paying the big boy tax.
Paying the big boy tax. I don't know how practiced Christian is in his Terry, though. I think that primarily the stocks have been placed into Ken and Ryu and then some into Kazuya, but I have not seen his Terry as of recent.
His Terry isn't bad. He's pretty good with the Terry. I think he's pulled it out a couple times at one of the Georgia monthlies called Keep It Real. Shout out to Jahzz0. It is a wonderful event. If you're ever in town, please make sure you go and see it. Yeah. But also, thank you to our wonderful sponsors here at this event. We've had a wonderful event hosted by the Titans Esports. They host tons of local events, not just Smash Ultimate in the Nashville area. Please make sure you show up and sign up for Titan Esports. But also, we're benefiting Monsoon, one of the local Tennessee TOs. I believe he's had some heart issues and some misfortune fall him recently. There is a QR code. If you go to the mainstream, you can actually see it right behind Jahzz0 right now. Please make sure you do, if you have any availability, donate to Monsoon to help them overcome these medical debts. My wife's a nurse in the cardiac unit, man. Those debts are huge, and they're crushing. It feels like there's no way out when you're under that medical debt, so anything helps.
Yeah. If you're on Twitter, I'm sure you've seen it at this point. You know, Monsoon looking for some assistance there, and really not fishing for it either. They're worried that they're asking for too much from people. They're really humble about it all. But we just want to support our local TOs, local community as much as possible. So definitely go find that QR code and donate.
Yeah, and again, these events wouldn't be possible without TOs like Monsoon, which allow us to have such great experiences like the match we're going to have here with ShinyMark and Jahzz0.
ShinyMark versus Jahzz0. We talked about it a little bit, right? Pikachu versus likely going to start with the Ken. We're probably going to start on PS2 or Small Battlefield. And in Small Battlefield, don't give Pikachu too much room, right?
I mean, what percent do you think Shoryu kills Pikachu? Okay, Jahzz0.
Down tilt Shoryu, I think we'll probably kill it like 75 plus. That's a guess, but I think that it's possible. I think more realistically, he's only going to start fishing for it around 80 to 85% though.
Yeah, it's only going to take a couple of interactions for Jahzz0 to essentially hammer on enough damage to where he can harass ShinyMark, but this is a matchup compared to the matchup with Civil. You can T-Jolt spam basically to your heart's content. Yeah. What is Jahzz0 going to do? Parry?
That's true. That's a good point. And look at that. We are seeing the parry, but you can't punish out of it because it's still advantage ShinyMark. See a little bit of a Shoryuken action right there on the platform. On the platform, it can kill a lot easier, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that for some time.
I still think one of the interesting things about this matchup is it's kind of the death by 1,000 cuts you mentioned earlier from the side of ShinyMark, but it only takes one for Jahzz0.
Right.
One foul interaction, and you're gone. I think at this point, if you get caught in up tilt Shoryu, down tilt Shoryu, that's lights out, especially with this level of rage.
Gets caught by the quick attack, wanted to chase the roll away. Jahzz0's got to find this opening right here. It only takes one now, 100%. A raw Shoryuken will kill. A lot of things will kill, actually. A roundhouse will kill, an axe kick will kill, but unable to find the positioning right here. Getting back to stage is always the challenge.
I do think we haven't seen ShinyMark abuse the focus attack enough. That's something that Jahzz0 is very reliant on. It's an integral part of the can recovery, but that is a quick stock. Jahzz0 up 3 stocks to 2 with a little bit of high percent, but no stranger to holding on to stocks.
Yeah, to speak about the parries, right, and how crucial those are. Parrying the second hit of quick attack, then dashing up to hit the Shoryuken is the type of win condition that Jahzz0 is going to be fishing for. So ShinyMark has to be a lot more selective about how they choose to pick options here. I doubt that he's played against any player that's as good at parrying as Jahzz0 is. So it's an entirely different adaptation you have to make.
It's a different mindset as well, because most of the time you can't necessarily count on your opponent always. Okay, well, little Gim, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But we expect that. This is going to be something Jahzz0 will have to face against with ShinyMark. But what I was trying to allude to was you don't necessarily count they're going to parry. They are going to parry this, and you have to account for that when you're playing against Jahzz0 specifically.
Jahzz0, even though we don't have much experience against Pikachu, you know who Jahzz0 has a lot of experience against? Sonic. A lot of Sonic matchup experience, which means Jahzz0 is prepared to play as patient as necessary, even going to time if needed. That was some fantastic pressure, the axe kick. Forces ShinyMark off stage. We're going to see going to the opposite side and resetting neutral. That's perfect for ShinyMark.
Again, Jahzz0 just using a lot of pressure, hammering out with these down tilts and forcing ShinyMark to hold the shield, which is terrifying because if you hold shield for too long, the axe kick just follows through, your shield snaps. It's such devastating damage, but more importantly, Jahzz0 is holding onto his stock for dear life, building up rage, parrying into that back air is terrifying.
That's fat. Oh, ShinyMark goes for something a little bit too aggressive and actually is caught by the roundhouse. Jahzz0 is up a stock, but how are you going to make something out of this without dying first?
I think the only way that you can do it is just treat this like extra credit. Any percent you get is better than what you'd expect. You're at 126 now. You just need to focus on living and doing as much to ShinyMark as you can while you have the rage to spare.
No dash up right there. Can't quite punish. It's just a little bit too safe of an aerial option. Is so ready to parry all of these T-Jolts, but that was a great choice. Instead of parrying, it chooses to jump over it to actually punish the T-Jolt, and that's a little bit more damage down. Maybe one more interaction would be ideal before losing your stock, but Jahzz0 biding his time, playing patient. 3 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, Jahzz0 playing extremely patient. A good choice from ShinyMark, not getting followed up by the Hado, but I wonder if Jahzz0 has to find any other way to get back to the stage. We see he's been going high quite a bit. Is he afraid of going low from ShinyMark just taking an easy snipe?
Absolutely. The angles that some of Pikachu's moves can send you at, it's too scary to go low. You can get 2-framed by down air. You can get back aired and then just die. But wow, what a follow-up. That was such a great chase onto the platform. Gets the short hop afterwards with the up air into the Shoryu. And Jahzz0 takes game 1 off of ShinyMark.
Jahzz0 taking game 1 in a pretty commanding fashion too, where he is enacting his game plan so swiftly. You're taking parries, baiting a certain behavior, and then immediately pouncing on the whip. Like you said earlier, parrying number 2 on the quick attack, running up and immediately blasting a Shoryu. It's such a killer instinct for Jahzz0.
Absolutely. And what a tragedy, right, this would be for Jahzz0 to not be able to make top 8, being stopped in his tracks by first MKLeo and then ShinyMark, the #1 seed, right? This is a tough path just to get to top 8.
Yeah, and I don't know if Jahzz0 was immediately considering ShinyMark in their loser's path. But 66% onto the board. Jahzz0 still playing this same game plan, but ShinyMark playing very safe, dancing around Jahzz0, and now waiting for damage, but double parry into Tatsu.
That's hot, man. I don't know what to say. That's some hot gameplay right there. Jahzz0 off stage, not getting 2-framed here, not getting edge guarded at all, but ShinyMark still holding the stage down. How do you open? You got to find something.
Yeah, just trying to find anything they can to hammer on advantage. Again, just going for dare Shoryu. ShinyMark is playing on borrowed time, essentially. I think the next conversion is it for Jahzz0.
Yeah, I think so. Both last hit probably at this point, 88%. Definitely kill percentage right now. Can't find the down tilt. Actually, the down tilt is going for ShinyMark and is able to find a dash attack to close out the stock.
Able to close it out, and the dash attack, a pretty great kill option for Pikachu, but now Jahzz0 slowly backing off, realizing ShinyMark doesn't really have the plan aside from I have to get you off stage and then look for a kill. But I think these parries might be biting Jahzz0 in the leg, essentially, because now it's so reliable to count on a parry that can't be punished. Jahzz0 is setting himself up for failure, possibly.
Yeah, choosing to hop over the T-Jones because it threatens an attack right here, and he actually forced ShinyMark to shield right after that forward air, but unfortunately the frame data is just too good for Pikachu. Misses the Shoryuken, and now Jahzz0 once again has to find an opening, and it's so difficult to find these openings. ShinyMark is so patient.
ShinyMark is incredibly patient, but Jahzz0 is still just looking for these typical Ken setups, up tilt into Shoryu, down tilt Shoryu. But ShinyMark hasn't given him any chance. Every time there is a slight opening, ShinyMark immediately fades back.
Full stock up for Jahzz0, trying to get feedback on the ground so that you can get feet in the face of the Pikachu, but unable to do so as ShinyMark is juggling.
The rage is still sitting on Jahzz0, 111, but getting lapped in percent, especially on a first stock, doesn't feel great against Pikachu, but
big trade.
All right, keeping it alive.
On the board, 3 is maybe a little bit generous, but 3 interactions to even this up for Jahzz0. It just depends, right? ShinyMark has been SDIing the Tatsus after the down tilt like so well, and then only sometimes is Jahzz0 mixing in the Hadoukens, which do catch that SDI out and down. But in any case, Jahzz0 still able to rack up a little bit more damage, but too much of a hill to climb for this stock.
44% onto the board. Jahzz0 still living at 155. Good use of a double focus attack there to get out of disadvantage. But now the Tatsu lands short. Jahzz0, I think now might be getting a little too trigger happy to kill, but the parries are crazy.
There's no more ambiguous of a defensive player that I've ever seen than Jahzz0. Mixing up every tech option so ShinyMark can't find a reliable tech chase. Unfortunately, though, sometimes you just get hit, right? Focus attack only lasts you so long, and an up air is going to kill.
At that level of rage, Jahzz0 was essentially one more interaction away from taking the stock away. Now it feels like there's a much bigger deficit to climb out of that you've lost all that rage.
Absolutely. ShinyMark is playing like a man practiced in the Shoto's matchup with how all the SDIs have been crazy, making sure that you're far enough on shield pressure so that you don't get locked into shield into potentially being shield broken. You can jump out of it. Just picking all the right options against Jahzz0's aggression.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to summarize how this game has been going. But right now, the one thing I'm looking for is to see Jahzz0 land his famous conversions. There it is, down tilt, up tilt, Shoryu, get out.
Get out, yeah. 45% on Jahzz0. Plenty comebackable of a percentage right here. ShinyMark's trying to slow down the pace of the game, which gives Jahzz0 just the opening to try to burst in. ShinyMark was ready for it, reversaled, and has racked up so much damage and continuing the advantage.
Something we didn't even bring up yet. We're at sub 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock for time. So ShinyMark can go to a timeout, but I don't think it will come to that, even though we're just kind of handing Jahzz0 tons of rage.
Jahzz0, tons of rage. I mean, it could be beneficial, but the question is, do you have the ability to open up ShinyMark enough to get the damage up? Usually we see Jahzz0 get these openings and they convert into like 40 to 50% combos into an advantage state, but ShinyMark has been so good about SDIing, about drifting, all of the correct decisions to only take anywhere between 5 and 20% in each interaction. So Jahzz0 has to find so many.
But again, it's a testament to how great both of these players are. Seeing Jahzz0 find unique openings through defense and using the focus attack to break through. Whether it's an air dodge or something else, I like how patient both of them are playing, but now Jahzz0 is essentially on borrowed time. 130% on the board. Jahzz0 needs to find a way to close out this stock, especially with ShinyMark closing in on 40%.
Forward throw is off stage. The multi-hit, actually only the last hit connects with focus stack, could save. Oh my goodness, just waits out the Tatsu, and ShinyMark made the right aggressive decision to catch Jahzz0's unfortunate disadvantage.
It feels like ShinyMark just baited Jahzz0 into throwing the Tatsu out. It's like, hey, I know you want to get back to the stage. I'll retreat back. Here's the Tatsu. An immediate heel turn to close the game out with the dash attack.
Yeah. That's something that you can afford when you're not at threat of dying in the next interaction, right?
Yeah.
It still would have required Jahzz0 to get probably 2 or 3 more interactions for a ShinyMark death, which means that you can afford to give up a little bit of your advantage state and try to go for a bait-out option instead, which is exactly what happened. Chose to go for a bait-out option, and now mainstream is so freaking loud.
But we're continuing on. Here we go. Jahzz0 and ShinyMark, do you see any stage change coming into play for this matchup?
Yeah, stage changes, no. And I definitely didn't just say that because I saw Small Battlefield. I think it's probably all the best stages for Ken are being banned out. But Small Battlefield and PS2 are going to provide a lot of the same benefit, and Jahzz0 would like to keep a little bit closer quarters.
Jahzz0 right now is just not having the best luck trying to get through ShinyMark's defense. And I think part of it is ShinyMark is constantly tempo changing against Jahzz0, whether it's with landing aerials, falling back into projectile camping. It's hard for Jahzz0 to find a consistent way to break through.
I'm wondering if the flat stages are being banned out or if PS2 is being banned out, because PS2 doesn't allow ShinyMark to plank and reset neutral by going underneath the stage. So it's possible that ShinyMark chose to ban PS2, but again, those flat stages also can be very beneficial for Ken, so it's hard to say.
I wonder if he's also taking away Battlefield, because I think Pikachu does have some problems interacting on Battlefield, so you could see him taking that away, but right now Jahzz0 just getting routed on this first stock.
Yeah, trying to get back to stage, actually catches the T-Jolt there to save Jahzz0 a little bit, able to rack up a little bit more damage. Jahzz0's trying to press the attack right now, and roll away has been the saving grace for ShinyMark. Jahzz0 can't chase it every time.
Yeah, it's not the most consistent option for ShinyMark to... Well, it's not for Jahzz0 to punish, rather, but ShinyMark just getting hammered in the corner and losing the first stock after such an amazing stretch so far.
Massive, but big turnaround right here for ShinyMark, and now neutral is reset. This is like worst case scenario for Jahzz0 after getting that stock. You really, really would have liked to rack up any sort of advantage or slow down the pace of the game and force ShinyMark to over-aggress, and you can play bait and punish for damage. But now that neutral is fully reset, we're back to square one. Jahzz0 has to put in so much mental energy just to find a little bit of damage.
At this point, with the way the games have been going, I wonder if Ryu is a better call, because when you start doing Shaku camping and having other routes to victory, it may not be as consistent with the multi-hits that Ken has, but you are opening up a different avenue to success.
The Thunder is focus attack. That's actually a nice save for Jahzz0. Able to only rack up 10%, and this is the issue. Death by 1,000 cuts should have been the name for Pikachu, but it's turning out that Ken is the one doing death by 1,000 cuts because ShinyMark has all of the right defensive choices to deal with Ken's aggression.
And making it out from the Tatsu there, it's incredible to see how ShinyMark is getting out of some of these situations. But again, it feels like Jahzz0 just is missing by a hair every single time to convert.
Just by a hair. Still able to parry the T-Jolts, and is choosing to do so just as a kind of a threat, saying, you can't come in on me, I will parry this, and then I will have some sort of defensive option, even if I'm not an advantage. It's more of just a threat than anything else. Jahzz0 waits out a nice disadvantage, able to get back to stage. ShinyMark's really pressing them.
Yeah, ShinyMark is definitely pressing hard to make sure Jahzz0 knows that he has to be the aggressor in this situation. But ShinyMark also is intentionally cornering themselves because worst case scenario, you can get the grab, send Jahzz0 off stage, and immediately gimp him.
134%. Again, we talk about the rage, but it really hasn't come into play this set. We would hope that it would. That's the first grab we've seen out of Jahzz0, and that's a fantastic option right there because ShinyMark's been just shielding all of the down tilt. So grab is a great way to rack up some damage.
Wow, Thunder didn't take it out yet, but we see the kill. Okay.
Yeah.
Up air does seal the stock. ShinyMark in a fantastic position. And Jahzz0 having to find any opening. Like you said, losing this rage is absolutely devastating.
ShinyMark, again, pressing and then backing up. Really playing the pace, really playing the cadence. And saying, hey, Jahzz0, the second that you aggress, I'm going to re-aggress onto you. And the second that you play more patiently, I'm backing up even further.
It's incredibly difficult to find a way to consistently open up ShinyMark, especially because you can't pull the trigger too early, especially in this matchup.
Big tech chase right there. And Jahzz0's a little bit frustrated here, not able to find any opening every time that there's some pressure on shield. ShinyMark is just using an aerial out of shield. Focus stack is going to get eaten by that forward air. The wall jump there, and the forward air edge guard is going to take the game. ShinyMark is up 2-1, and now the question is, do we have a character swap? Because it's character first, and I think I just saw ShinyMark ban stages.
I feel like the answer is no, but
Right.
you need to change the scenery at the minimum. You need to do something differently. Small battlefield isn't working. It's too claustrophobic. ShinyMark is able to set up and constantly harass you. I would like to see the Ryu. I think Shaku does allow for a better matchup here, but not the case ultimately. And we're running it back to small battlefield. What do you think about this?
Again, if PS2 is banned, then sure, go small battlefield. But if PS2 is not banned, you should be going to PS2. You get to corner pressure as much as you want, and yes, ShinyMark gets to run away a little bit more, but they can't reset neutral by going under the platform or going under the stage. They can't reset all of the momentum and all of the pressure, and you still get all of that platform pressure that you would have had before.
Can we just start counting the Thunder Jolt parries?
Yeah, let's just rack it up for game 4. Let's see. 1, 2,
All right, hold on. Oh, there we go. We finally got a hit, but ShinyMark still just playing this so slow, but it's what's been working. Jahzz0 hasn't found an answer to this yet.
Yeah, Jahzz0 is patient, but the issue at this point isn't patience. It's finding conversions. And I think there's enough space in between each aggressive choice that Jahzz0 isn't able to correctly condition ShinyMark into picking right options. Now that aggression has been hot for the last 30 seconds, Jahzz0's finding a lot of damage. But the second that ShinyMark slows things down, it's an issue. ShinyMark has not slowed it down yet.
ShinyMark lived the Shoryu, the double parry into that Shoryu there. That's pretty impressive. ShinyMark has definitely found their confidence and their footing. Jahzz0 might need to start thinking of a different kill condition right now.
Yeah, that's the issue though. When you're playing Ken, you kind of bait yourself into only playing around Shoryu or like axe kick or roundhouse kick as your kill condition. You don't have other options like Ryu does.
That's 3. But ShinyMark, I think, is doing a really great job of forcing Jahzz0 into a very specific defense box. And never mind, back air cleans it up. A good position for Jahzz0. You want to at least hold on and rack up some extra credit before the stock goes away.
But that's been the issue. If Jahzz0 can get extra credit, then great, we're in business. But if he can't, like the last 2 games have shown, if ShinyMark closes out without too much extra credit on the board, Jahzz0's in dire straits.
I think one adaptation we've seen this game is that Jahzz0 is now much more content to do nothing. He's not trying to run and force the game plan and force action against ShinyMark by down tilting and looking for a Katsu. Much more content to wait for a whiffed aerial parry and then immediately punish.
But we didn't see any extra credit come out. We saw no jump available, and ShinyMark capitalized, taking the stock back. I think Jahzz0's got to keep the attack, like I said, press. Even though Jahzz0 can play very patiently, I don't think it's benefiting him to play patiently at all.
Now we're looking at how Jahzz0 just, first of all, he hasn't been able to get to the ground. I feel like ShinyMark has kept them juggled so long, it's hard for him to establish any win condition if you're in the air for most of the game.
Oh, I love that crossing up, but actually spot dodge. The SDI out just allowed the spot dodge to come out. Locked into shield, but not quite a shield break. ShinyMark's going to stall off stage until that shield is a little bit more recovered.
at this point, if you're ShinyMark, you really need to thank your lucky punch. And Jahzz0 still pulling the trigger just a little too early. It feels like he's so ready to try and close the stock out, but we're just always 1 second too early.
But the punishes haven't been too heavy, right? So Jahzz0 is actually not feeling any type of way about fishing for it more and more often because there's not really a kill threat when you're that high up in the air and you can land on the platform. So tossing it out is not the worst option because best case scenario, you get a kill out of it. That said, if you miss it too many times and you're at too high percent, then yeah, Pikachu can hit a back air and you might die.
Again, we have seen Jahzz0 consistently looking for these down tilt starters. It's very difficult when ShinyMark is fading in and then back out with these aerials because Pikachu has that luxury. But I really wonder if Jahzz0 might have to just resort to the back air at this point.
Yeah, we see a little bit of fishing for it, right? Like a little bit of jump back air, a little bit of jump forward air in for a little bit of threat, but you have to worry about the shield pressure. Back air is going to be a little bit more reliable than forward air because you're not going to get punished with an out of shield option. But a run-up grab is a nice punish anyways. Jahzz0 can't get back to the ground, actually finds their footing, and now ShinyMark on the corner. Happy to play the corner.
Yeah, more than happy to play the corner, but just fine to play the slow play game. The back air breaks through the focus attack, and ShinyMark is up 2 stocks to 1 with 2 minutes 30 seconds on the board. This is a great position for ShinyMark because now you can just play it slow and take the game for a ride.
You can't quite kill with that Shoryu. That's crazy. Didn't get the heavy Shoryu, I don't think. Unfortunate, but Jahzz0 only needs one more interaction to close up the stock. The question is ShinyMark going to give it up easily? We see ShinyMark kind of playing in the face of Jahzz0, kind of baiting it out, saying, I dare you, I dare you. And unfortunately, Jahzz0 took the dare, and ShinyMark's the one racking it up.
Yeah, ShinyMark has just been able to constantly annoy Jahzz0, even with rage. Normally we're talking about how Jahzz0 needs to have rage. ShinyMark's self-preservation instincts with this stock have been unbelievable, and Jahzz0 needs to find a way to pull the trigger and execute this stock.
Back air, I think, kind of, it might be the option, right? Like, you can run up and you can force shield pressure, but ShinyMark's escaped it 9 times out of 10 this entire set. Now you're at 89%. You're on your last stock. You're on your tournament stock right now, and ShinyMark wants to close it out with an edge guard. Ah, and that's, oh wow, the reversal.
Wow, nice reversal. Still trying to find a way to make it back to the stage. A good mix-up from ShinyMark there, but now just flanking, knowing that we're in advantage. There's no need to pull the trigger and be aggressive. You can wait for Jahzz0 to choose something unsafe and seal the game out.
Yeah, Jahzz0's getting a little bit fatigued right here. Unable to find the heavy Shoryu. Again, that's unfortunate, but that was your opening. You can't miss those openings because if you do, ShinyMark's going to have a lot easier time closing the gap.
Yeah, you have to nail your consistent confirms because above all else, if you do not have that consistency or those confirms, you're just essentially losing any momentum against ShinyMark. The time is slowly whittling down, 45 seconds on the clock, and Jahzz0 knows he needs to get this stock, but ShinyMark does not need to engage at all.
Yeah, I think this one's over, right? Like, you can't deal with Pikachu planking under the stage as Ken. Even if you close out this stock, there's no way you're closing a 130% gap in 30 seconds. Does find the stock, and you have such little time to get this. ShinyMark's going to wait on the Angel platform, then jump off stage and plank for the rest of the game. There's no reason to aggress.
There is an option where Ken can get the Meteor Smash, but it seems so unlikely at this point, and the down smash seals Jahzz0's fate.
It's about sending a message.
G to ShinyMark.
Gotta win that one because it's about sending a message. You could have waited. You could have played the timeout game, but I think ShinyMark needed a little bit morale boost, right? After that winner's side set going the way that it did for Sybil, changing the entire trajectory of top 8, by the way, which is crazy. Sybil giveth, Sybil taketh away. But ShinyMark needed something like a buff there, and I don't think the timeout would have felt good enough going into top 8. Jahzz0 out at 9th, unfortunately, with getting knocked out by Leo ShinyMark. Like, that's the most unfortunate run.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy bracket path for Jahzz0, but it's invaluable experience. You cannot replicate that, and I think that's it. That's our top 64.